so blessed. The truth is, life is fleeting. Time is fleeting. Time is fearful. Time is just a passing thing. But the truth is, we're all what? Eternal souls in the end. Yeah. So sometimes we get really caught up with what's going on, and we don't have that long-range ego eyesight of, but there's more than what we can see in our human experience. But when we meditate, we can connect with those eyes that can see much further and trust that things are actually working out even when they don't look like they will ever work out, right? So, as most of you know, I've been doing a series of talks from the book called The 10 Commitments by David Simon, MD. He is the co-founder of the Chopra Center, and so it's a fun book to read for me. And I don't share a lot from each chapter, but it's basically taking the 10 Commandments, which is all about being told what to do by an outside source, right? I don't like being told what to do by an outside source. I have a rebellious side. Anybody else? It's like, don't tell me what to do. And so we have these 10 commandments, which are exerting an outer authority telling us what to do. And he believes that it's more empowering to call it a commitment. And how can we shift the thoughts of a commandment and introduce commitment instead? Because a commitment is something I choose. I get to make that. And to be aware of the choices I have is all about this commitment. So we have talked about so far, we had authenticity, we had freedom, we had peace, and last week was about acceptance. So what do you believe that our commitment is today? What is the commitment if I was to say the 9th commandment, thou shalt not bear false witness against thy neighbor? What do you think I commit to? What? Truth. I heard truth. Yeah, if you heard the word truth a few times today, it's because even in Bill's song, it's about truth. So the truth, I commit to truth. So what is truth? That's a really good question. I looked it up just to see, out of curiosity, what that definition would be. Well, none of these really tell me much. The first one is the quality of being true. So what determines what's true? I looked up true just because true means in accordance with fact or reality. I'm like, whose reality? Because we have different realities. And that just dives right into the second truth definition. What is true or in accordance with fact or reality? Again, I ask, whose reality? Because your reality might be quite different than mine. And we're going to talk about truth being actually is quite relative. There isn't, you have a truth that is different than Sandy's, that's different than Carol's, that's different than Alex's, that's different than Jerry's. So he talks about that problem is that most of our truths are relative. He says, most people commonly use the words truth to describe their core beliefs. The nature of relative truth is that it changes with our changing perceptions. What you believed at a younger time in your life, you probably have changed it. It might be changed. Hey, we believed that the world was flat at some point. Well, that perspective has changed, but it was the truth. It's flat, right? That we speak so highly of what the truth is, and usually it's because there's a part of us that actually doubts it, but we wouldn't say that. So whenever there's adamancy of this is the truth, you might want to question that. He says the commitment to truth begins with acknowledging that beliefs are inherently relative. The first noble truth of Buddhism's Eightfold Path is right perspective. This principle recognizes that everyone believes that his or her perspective is the right one. The pursuit of truth requires us to see that truth can wear many masks. Isn't that? Each mask and each person convinced that there is only one true face. If you can see that your perspective is one of many possible points of view, you are on the road to experiencing the truth that sets you free. According to man, a great truth is a truth whose opposite is also a truth. Yeah, whoa. A great truth is a truth whose opposite is also a truth. That's giving you something about. So, isn't that? Absolutely. Things to chew on through the week. Like, is that true? Might be a question you ask. So I have a little story that reflects on this. It's called The Cookie Thief. A woman was waiting at the airport one night with several long hours before her flight. She hunted for a book in the airport shop, bought a bag of cookies, and found a place to drop. She was engrossed in her book, but happened to see that the man beside her, as bold as could be, grabbed a cookie or two from the bag in between, which she tried to ignore to avoid a scene. She read, munched cookies, and watched the clock as the gusty cookie thief diminished her stock. She was getting more irritated as the minutes ticked by, thinking, if I wasn't so nice, I'd blacken his eye. With each cookie she took, he took one too. With only one left, she wondered what he would do. With a smile on his face and a nervous laugh, he took the last cookie and broke it in half. He offered her half, and he ate the other, and she snatched it from him and thought, oh, brother, the guy has some nerve, and he's also so rude, while he didn't even show any gratitude. She had never known when she had been so galled and sighed with relief when her flight was called. She gathered her belongings and headed for the gate, refusing to look at the thieving ingrate. She boarded the plane and sank in her seat, then sought her book, which was almost complete. As she reached in her baggage, she gasped with surprise. There was her bag of cookies in front of her eyes. If mine are here, she moaned with despair as she reached in her baggage. If mine are here, she moaned with despair, then the others were his, and he tried to share. Too late to apologize, she realized with grief that she was the rude one, the ingrate, the thief. Perspective. Okay, well, there's a perspective. You know, it's true. He ate all my cookies. The truth is, I ate all his cookies, right? David Simon goes on to say that the commitment to truth requires you to continually review your beliefs about the world and your place in it, expanding your capacity to embrace multiple perspectives. Is that easy to do? No, because when I have my belief, and by the way, I like the definition of a belief, is a thought I hold to be true, and it may not even be true. Question your thoughts. If every thought is a prayer, when I first started in New Thought, I was like, I'm in trouble, because I don't always have positive thoughts or nice thoughts. No, I have a shadow that is going to think some negative things about people, about myself possibly, and what I learned was it's the tendency of my thoughts. So if my tendency is to think negative thoughts, yes, I'm going to create that. But if I have 10% of my thoughts being negative, and I know, like I said in the meditation, that I can change my thought. When I catch a negative thought, or I give it space, I also believe that we need to give room to our emotions and to some of our negativity without sharing it with the rest of the world to infect them with my negativity, right? But I want to give myself permission to let my whiny one, my nasty one, say things. Because what I don't own owns me, and it's going to show up outside of me. So I say, okay, you can get on the stage and you have 5 minutes. You know, that's a long time to be nasty or whatever it is, what I'm feeling, and be able to say that. And then I'm good. But not to bury it, because when we bury our emotions, it's like a beach ball underwater. It's going to surface somehow. We're going to burst out at somebody else about something. So I want to give it room to be expressed. All the world's a stage, as Shakespeare said. So as we become less rigid, part of me goes, good luck with that. I'm like, thanks. As I become less rigid in my perceptions, in our perception of truth, we become capable of respecting and empathizing with people of diverse beliefs. Now that is true. I want to understand. Be curious about people that you don't get it. Ask them questions. If you don't understand, can I suspend my own thinking and my own belief long enough to go, Tom, what are your beliefs? And then be able to listen. And they might be different than mine, but I want to hear. And I may not understand, but I am giving it a shot, right? You know, it's like, I just want to see, and maybe I'll get an aha out of it, that I had never seen it that way, but I have to be open to other points of view, and that is a healing transformational effect on all of our relationships, our personal relationships, our work, our cultural, and God knows, our international relationships. So, changing our perspective, being able to commit to truth is what we're looking for. So who knows what's happening today at 4:30? Come on, mountain time. What is it? The Super Bowl. Yes, it is the Super Bowl, and who's playing? The Eagles and the Chiefs. Some of you are going to say Chiefs and Eagles, whoever, it's interesting. So how many of you are a fan of the Chiefs? Raise your hand. You can be timid, that's fine. How many of you are fans of the Eagles? Okay. I actually see more than one, but she does have her Eagle shirt, kind of not making it clear. How many of you are a fan of the commercials? Okay, we actually have more there. And how many of are no fan at all? Well, there you have it. No fan at all, no fans. Well, regardless of the type of fan you are or you aren't, did you know that there is a Super Bowl playing right now? And there is a Super Bowl that is playing every day of every year. Did you know that? No. I expected maybe a no. So today, we're going to use the Super Bowl as a metaphor. Yeah, a metaphysical metaphor in our lives. So who knows where the Super Bowl is being played today, the physical one? And what is the place that they're doing this in? Superdome, what is it called? Caesars, very good, Carol. Goes to the top of the class. Caesars Superdome in New Orleans. So the question is, we know that the Eagles and the Chiefs are playing, but what are the metaphysical names of the two teams that'll be playing? You know what? I forgot something. Yeah, it's in my office. Yeah, I'm going to tell you. It's a flowery bag. It's flowery. And it's tied at the top, so you can't see what's in it. Yeah. It's one of those things that's like, oh yeah, I was rushing around. Anyway, back to the moment. So the two teams that are playing every day are Team Love and Team Fear. And where are they playing? They're playing in the Superdome of your mind. Yes. So we're going to get to learn about our two internal teams that are playing their game back and forth. So Team Fear runs on illusions. Team Fear runs on conditions, circumstances, limiting beliefs. Runs on doubt and worry and fears, lies, stagnation, power over others, insecurity. That is Team Fear. We all have Team Fear in certain areas of our life, even more than others. Thank you, Jeannie. Yes, we might need this bag because Jeannie knows we'd never know what's going to come out of the bag. Yeah, thank you, Jeannie. And thank you, Spirit, for reminding me not too much later in our talk. And so now we have Team Love. Okay, Team Love runs on truth. Okay, Team Fear runs off illusions. Runs on vision and growth, empowerment, about, again, vision, upliftment, expansion, about life, about thriving. It's about that which brings more life. It's fear and it's love. And Neale Donald Walsch says, every human thought, word, or deed is based on either love or fear. Fear is the energy which contracts, closes down, draws in, hides, hoards, and harms. Love is the energy which expands, opens up, sends out, reveals, shares, and heals. You, I, we have a free choice about which of these to select. And John Lennon, there are two basic motivating forces, fear and love. When we are afraid, we pull back from life. When we are in love, we open to all that life has to offer with passion, excitement, and what is it? Acceptance. Yes, there was another word in there. So in the Super Bowl of life, whose team is winning? Well, it depends on what area of my life we're talking about. Some, I'm in the team of love, but there might be some team that there's fear. So, but we're going to talk about some other the metaphysical terms before we get to that. So, what is metaphysically the football? What does that represent? It represents what you would love. It is your dream life. It is something in life that you would love to experience and to have. So you got this football that is your dream, your vision of how life could be and that you would love it to be. It's about your ideal life and what you would most love to have, to do, to be. And we talk in the Prosperity Plus class about what is it that you would love in your relationships, in your health, in the money and time freedom, and in your purpose, and that work that you do in the world. So my question is, it's now February. How many of you have taken the time to write down what you would love to have to thrive in 2025? Some of you, awesome. Let's give yourselves a hand. Now, for those who haven't, it's not too late. And here's what Mary Morrissey says, and it's true that we're always creating. We're always creating because our thoughts are creative. And we either create, she says, by design or default. Ooh, by design or default. Regardless if you take the time or not. It could be just, you're choosing to just let life be as it is. Or you can design it. You have that choice. And many of us don't have that. I loved when I had learned that I could create my life by default? Well, whatever's going on now can just keep going on because it's good and there's nothing wrong with that. And what if I put a little time and attention into it? Because what we put our time and attention to, we get more of. Whatever we put our time and attention to, we get more of. That's a super important statement to think about. What am I putting my time and attention on? That is going to show up in my life in some form. So you have the choice also to be a spectator. You know, there's people in the stands. Or do you want to get in the game? Okay, you have, again, the choice. Being a spectator, there's nothing wrong with being a divine spectator of life. But what if I got into the game and said, I want to play. I want to do this. This is happening in my world, whether I know it or not. Team fear and team love are continually moving around. And so what is the goal in a physical game of football? It's to get where? Goal line, in the end zone, okay? So the metaphysical interpretation of getting the dream, the vision, is to get it to the end zone. The end zone represents that place that is your place of manifestation, where it happens. But you have to move yard by yard down the field of your life to get there. It's not like you're there. You have to do some work. And what type of work? Well, first of all, you have to do some visioning. Football teams envision. They see it. They see it as if they were doing the plays, and they practice. Now, in our interpretation, it's spiritual practice. Am I doing spiritual study? Am I doing meditation? Am I doing affirmative prayer? Am I getting affirmative prayer with others? There's these spiritual practices. Am I tithing? Am I serving others? There's so many practices, but my life is going to show up according to how much I'm doing these practices, because they are the ground that I am running on and passing the ball on. So the end zone is where your dream of what you would love manifests. In order to score and win the Super Bowl of your life, there are players, right? And each has a specific role to play. So we're going to look at all the roles that you play in the Super Bowl of your life. So who is the number one player in a football game? I suspected you would say that. How about the coach? And you go, but is a coach a player? Yes, absolutely. It is a team. Without the coach, you don't have a team. And the metaphysical representation of the coach is spirit. Spirit is calling the plays. And the question is, you have to listen to that coach, that inner voice. I guess back in time they might have had, I think, a microphone in their ear. I think now they have something else on their wrist. But back in time, it's like, am I listening to the coach who's telling me what play to operate? And the quarterback then, of course, is the next person in this alignment of the players in your life. Your quarterback has to be plugged in to the coach, has to listen, and trust that the coach knows what the coach is saying instead of, I'm just going to do it my way. No, that is not a team. So your quarterback self needs to be listening to the plays. And a quarterback needs to pay attention. They need to pay a lot of attention to what's going on down the field. And they also need to be accurate in their aim as much as they can possibly be. So are you aiming for the end zone with accuracy, with intention? Are you paying attention to how you can perhaps move this ball of your life down the field so that there's a manifestation? Then there's the running backs and the receivers. And they're committed to keeping the possession. They don't want to lose it. They don't want to fumble your life. They want to catch it when it gets to them or hands off to them. to be hanging on to it and not miss it, So they're super passionate and they're super intention. So when that quarterback is sending that ball down the field, the ball of my life, my dream, my vision, I'm on it because we're all one. All these characters are part of me and part of you. So in your dream life and what you would love, are you moving forward? First, you have to have it. So if you haven't written it down, and be pointed at it, intention. They are so pointed in their intention. All the fans are screaming and this and that. They can't hear a thing, but they know what they're supposed to do and they follow that. Then you have your inner guards and your blockers, okay? So your inner blockers, they're trying to keep you from getting the quarterback or getting the running backs, right? They're protecting you. And I like this phrase, your guards and your blockers are trying to prevent team fear from interception, from taking the ball, from keeping you from moving down the field of your life. Fear is going to jump in and want to say, you can't get past here. And so your blockers and your guards are looking to stand guard at the portals of your mind. Emerson, stand guard at the portals of your mind. Let's all say that. Stand guard at the portals of your mind. Because when a fear thought drops in, that's when you got to go, no. You got to say, no, cancel, cancel. So the question now is, which team do you want to be on? Team fear or team love? So we're going to do a short meditation. So I'm going to invite you to close your eyes. And just take all that information and just let it be. Disengage your mind and listen to what Spirit would have you be with now. So the first question the divine asks is, what area of your life do you carry the biggest amount of fear? We all have fear, and so bring to mind an area of life where you carry fear. And once you have that in mind, now we can move into the game. And you ask Spirit, your coach, what do I need to be in order to defeat this fear? What do I need to be in order to defeat this fear? I need to be good. And now we go to the quarterback of your life. And what is the quarterback? Quarterback asks the coach, what do I need to do to defeat this fear? What do I need to do to beat this fear? And Spirit answers, you need to and next, the question your guards ask, your blockers, what do I need? How can I stop the fears from coming in? How can I block any fears that want to bring me down? How can I stop those fears from running me? And Spirit answers, you need to And so now I'm going to invite you to imagine that your team of coach and the blockers and the receivers and the running backs and the quarterbacks, all inside of you on Team Love, have passed through the gates of fear, through the team of fear, and you have arrived now at the end zone, and that which you feared has been transformed. What has it been transformed into? What is the ball, the football of your life represent? Instead of fear, you now have the football of what? And now you're in the end zone, and there's a celebration. Jumping around, knowing that we have defeated and beat any fears, the team fear. And so you open your eyes to celebrate, to enjoy this moment, for you have won the game. And what's the next thing you do? You go to Team Fear and you say, thank you. Thank you to Team Fear. You shake hands, you give each other a hug, because Team Fear has helped you get here. Thank the fear. It has been your ally, even though it seemed like your enemy. And so it is when we come together with the Team Love and the Team Fear in our minds that we come together and we realize that we've been love, and we're now more loving and more peaceful than we've ever been. And together we say, and so it is. Namaste.